Welcome to the Wait What Are We Talking About podcast, episode 231. My name is Bret, aka Enigma9011, and you can catch this podcast live over on twitch.tv/Enigma9011. You can drop a follow over there. You'll get notified if and when we go live, so you join on the fun and conversation with us. But if you can't catch it live, that's A-OK. Go over to YouTube and podcast services the very next week, where it's broken out topic by topic and put as one big video and MP3 for your amusement on the following Friday. Last but not least, any way you can support the show, like, share, subscriptions, reviews, all that fun stuff. It may seem small, but does help the channel grow, so if you take the time to do that, we would love and appreciate you for it. Quicker one today, only two topics. One a little bit delayed on timing wise of when I should have done it, my bad. Another one, a more recent topical one, I guess you could say. First topic we're going to be jumping into today is talking about Extra Life. We're going to be, oops, you were all up in the wires, there we go. We're going to be reviewing this year's Extra Life, just talking about, just kind of me talking it through, what it felt like this year, pros, cons, whatnot, as Moose joins us, and just going over it like we usually do. And then the second topic is going to be more game related, as a game that just came out recently. But let's jump into the first one. So yes, Extra Life happened this year. Oh boy, as of recording, 2 weeks ago, maybe 3. Yeah. Had a great time as always. Had a lot of people join us from either online, obviously watching, playing with us, or we had the crew in person. We had a great showing there, had a great time with everybody, catching up with people we haven't seen in quite some time, or playing some new games on Extra Life, and everybody seemed to have a real good time with the layout of games that we did have. So I will say that we did a phenomenal job with raising, I think it was a little over $800 this year raised, which is great. And then overall, I feel like energy level and the flow of things went very well as well. So solid showing overall, especially for our 9th year doing this. That was nice. Now, granted, I'm a little harsh on myself, so, there's always bad things, I think, that happen. So just kind of want to share some thoughts with you guys of what the cons were, the pros were. So let's be negative Nancy's to start, and then we'll kind of end on the upswing of other positives, I guess. So just going on into it. So we had, unfortunately, a lot of tech issues at the beginning, which is unfortunate. Obviously, there's a lot of build-up to these events, and once you go live, you kind of hope and pray everything will fly or go off without a hitch and, just run smoothly, and you can focus your energy on what you're supposed to. Unfortunately, that was not the case this year, as we had many a crash in the first 2 hours. So our Fortnite section, we were supposed to be, it was Lady and I playing as scheduled, as well as Papa Griff doing his trivia again this year, which, separate note, the trivia was fantastic. I guess I should have saved that for the pros. The trivia was really good. And then we were also joined by Freckleboy09 and Inverted Lantern on Fortnite. That was a little last minute, but they joined us for quads. So we started the first game. Everything was going fine, and then that's when the crashes started happening. I'm not sure exactly what happened. It seems like it may have been a Twitch issue, which I don't want to point it and be like, haha, it was you, or something else, and blame that way, but I couldn't really decipher any other issues. We did notice we had some updates running in the background. We stopped those. Dat didn't fix it. Internet was not crashing. There were no frame drops at all. It was just the OBS Studio crashing over and over again. Neither of the games crashed. Like I said, the internet didn't crash. We did a full refresh of that. That didn't seem to help. We tried duos. That didn't seem to help either. In terms of a setup-wise, everything was exactly the same as last year, minus a webcam swap, but I don't think that would have caused the crashes, and if so, it would have continued throughout the night type of deal. So I have no idea really what it could have been. My only guess is the Twitch servers. We did switch it at one point to, I believe, a Canadian server, and it lasted a little longer, but all in all, I have no idea. So that was really frustrating. It would have been one thing where it's like, okay, we know it's X Factor, and we eliminate X Factor best we can. Okay, cool, it's working now. when we noticed that there were updates in the background, we thought it was that, and we're like, oh, thank God, and then no luck there. So those crashes continued, unfortunately. Most of them, like I said, were in that for those first 2 hours. I think we ended up crashing like 50 times, which is gross. So that kind of ruined the initial mood, especially for myself. And I know that's something I need to avoid, obviously being the lead. That sounds weird on the show, but obviously that is going to portray out to whoever's viewing, whoever else is on the stream and whatnot. So I should have kept a better handle on that. But those happened, so we unfortunately didn't get as much Fortnite in as we were hoping to. And then in terms of trivia, the trivia was great. I just felt like all of those crashes and hindrances, I think we were supposed to start trivia in the first hour, to have to then speed through it kind of towards the end after Papa Griff put all this work into setting it up and running it. It felt awful. Or I felt awful, just kind of almost making it a side thing of just like, yeah, just get it done. I thought the questions were really good. I felt bad Lady didn't answer any of them. And I think that was more of me just trying to rush it and make sure we fit in the entirety of it. But once we ignored the crashes and moved on from that, it was good. I think we crashed maybe another once or twice during the Among Us section. So in terms of tech issues for the crashing department, that was it. Me and setup. I did not do as much testing as I needed to do. So we talked about it in stream a few weeks ago, but I haven't updated my capture card that I capture from the consoles, the game footage. I haven't upgraded that in 10 years, so I decided to splurge leading up to the event, make another upgrade. So I got the new Elgato HD 60X and got it all set up. Oh, it's capturing fine. Apparently the desync is different than what the old Elgato capture card was, which I mean, guess makes sense. So we were desynced a little bit with game and the webcam, which that's fine, but also I didn't adjust volume, so I don't know, and this is me looking back at it, I don't know how much of that footage is going to be usable, if any, for like a post-production standpoint, putting videos out, or montage-wise, as long as I don't use audio, I guess that's fine. It's going to be a little bit more work to get that. However, with everything how I record it, granted, probably not the best way, but you got to work with what you work with. It's all on one track, so all the audio is on one track, all the visuals are on one track. So while delaying video via a mask is much easier in a desync situation, I can't go and post, lower the game volume, boost our audio. That's just out of my technical range right now with our current setup. So that's unfortunate. I tried planning ahead and resyncing our webcam. There were still desyncs here and there, which was unfortunate. So there's a lot of tech issues this year, which sucked. And I mean, if we're splitting hairs, we did raise less than we normally do. That's a me thing. 800 is still fantastic. It's still a lot of money that's going towards a good cause. That's just something on my end where I'm being perhaps overcritical on my end of like, because of all these tech issues. We had a lot of people at the beginning watching and like engaging and whatnot, which was great, and I appreciate that. But I can understand if all these crashes are happening and there's stutters and whatnot on their end, why are they going to stick around and watch? So that was a little bit of a bummer. I would hope that would change stuff, but there's no guarantee. There's no way we can know. So it is what it is. Just a down note in terms of this year. So that was all the negatives, was just the tech stuff. In terms of pros, let's turn this ship around. I'm going to pat myself on the back. A lot of good prep, except for the other stuff we talked about. But I think I had this Extra Life planned. I know the previous year, it was very last minute. It was like, oh crap, it is right around the corner. I haven't really thought about it all that much. And it was a lot of rush of put this here, figure out the schedule, send out invites, yada, yada, yada. This year, I think I had the schedule done because I like to list out everything so people know what time to tune in for what games if they want things specifically. I think I had the schedule all set and ready to go in August, so 3 months prior. Yikes, I know. Had that ready, had images ready to promote, I had videos ready to promote, and had something coming out each week, probably a month prior, leading to the event. Invites for everybody went out a month ahead with a 2-week check-in, so I thought I did good there. So that kind of encapsulates the first two with good prep and promo material. We got a good social media engagement on stuff with people sharing and liking the videos and posts, so that's good. In terms of Twitch stats, we did fantastic. A lot of people popped in. I don't remember. I might still have the email. Obviously, we're not the most giant of channels, but overall, I would say a very successful year in terms of the numbers here. Of course, now I'm not going to be able to find it. La 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 la. Hold on. There we go. So we had 108 unique viewers, 11 max at one point, average 3.7, and 24 chatters. Got some new subs and follows as well through that. So I don't know. Just it's nice to know that people do turn out for these events for the amount of work we put into them, and the amount of fun we have with them too. It's good to know that other people are looking forward to those streams and checking it out, and just even having it on in the background and chatting here and there is nice. So that's good. It'd be a lot different, obviously, if we did this and then no one watched. So good to see that the numbers follow up for that. The in-guest friends that did make it, always fantastic to see them, and they bring a lot of energy, and I have a lot of fun hanging out with them. Stayed the entire time. That's a win. I kind of accounted this year for once again, last year's numbers of here were our peaks, here were our valleys, people trickling in. People were there right on time, stayed the entire time, which I really appreciated. Definitely makes it easier on my part because I can rely on them if I'm feeling a little down in terms of energy, especially with the new schedule of starting at night and then going that way for the 24 hours. I really appreciated them hanging out and had a lot of good energy there. Speaking of the overnight, I think the overnight went pretty quick this year, especially for me being up from noon on Black Friday. So the stream started at 8 p.m. Black Friday. So being up, that portion, and then doing the 24 hours. Night went really, really well. I don't think I had much caffeine. I had some soda here and there, but the energy drinks that I had provided for myself of this is your emergency, similar to last year, didn't have either. So that was super impressive on my part. Not gonna lie. I think I had a struggle around 4:30. I did a little head bob and was like, whoa, hold on. So got up and washed my face, and that seemed to help immensely. And when we had our late night crew, per usual, Turn-Based TJ was there, Pilicious was there. Obviously having those people to interact with and chat with definitely helped throughout as well. I will say Super Animal Royale was MVP of the night in terms of a game to play. We had other games we jumped into, but that was the one we kind of kept I kind of feeling this game, and that was fun to hop back into. And we had some shenanigans with a viewer there too who was also playing the game, so we had some fun with them. So the overnight went really, really well. Didn't drag on as I feel like it can sometimes. We ended up doing an extra hour this year, so we actually did a 25-hour stream due to all the tech issues at the beginning. Not as successful there in terms of energy output and then people there, which makes sense. It was an on the whim thing. People are already planning on leaving, so that makes sense. But I was glad we did it. I was glad we tried it. And I mentioned it would be only being tired the one time, that 4:30 kind of chunk. That was the only time it really felt like it dragged on. So it seems like this new schedule is working out really well of doing the late at night to roll over to the late at night the next day. So all in all, it went well. And, being away from it now, I can say that. In the moment, I really felt down of how things played out in terms of the technical stuff. Obviously, once again, you want everything to go with flying colors. And then the monetary thing, while still being good, just we've hit that 1,000 mark in the past couple of years, so to not hit it, bummer. Once again, a lot of factors into that. The tech issues, it's harder now, inflation's getting us all, I get that. So in terms of that, I can't argue all that much or really complain. It's not that big a deal. We are helping people, and that's the important thing. Next year is 10 years doing this thing. Yikes. Yes, there's already plans rolling in my head. A lot of them are incredibly dumb, and I like being transparent with you guys about my dumb ideas. I think I shared some last year. I don't even recall. I think we've talked about a summer event. I don't know if that's in the books anymore. It'd be nice to have that freedom, but we don't do really gimmicks anymore with the donation thing. We did do stickers again this year, which I don't know if it was really incentive. That was kind of last minute as well. But we don't do the milestones of the jelly beans or the hot peppers or the leg wax strips and stuff like that. We've had success without them, and those ideas of thinking new stuff is quite difficult. I know people have tried to help and give ideas here and there, which I appreciate, but seeing that we can have the success without those milestones, it doesn't feel to me like enough of an inclination. So that was the idea with the summer, was we wouldn't be stuck inside. Obviously with the cold weather, we could have that freedom to do outdoor stuff that may be more messy or just needs space. So I don't know if summer games or a summer event is really the right way to go. Now this is where the dumbness comes in. There's always the idea of doing a longer stream. Okay, well, I gotta stay up for a longer stream if that's the case. We did the 25 hours. I don't know about that. That weekend of Thanksgiving weekend, that's been our staple. I think I would keep that. I'm almost debating, ready? Here's the stupidity, of doing a month of Extra Life. Now, I don't mean obviously the whole month of November is all Extra Life. No. Let's not be stupid. I mean 4 streams, 4 weekends. Ideally, that's how it would work out, of streams. So you could do a weekend 1, do a throwback just at the apartment. Lady and I do Mario Party for 12 hours. Not 4 24s. I see you, son of a gun. Maybe do something like that. Boom. There's 1 week. Second week, Papa Griff and I do a GM mode for an extended amount of time. Could do that. Week 3, maybe do an elongated online type gaming session with friends from out of state or even in state. Do that. And then that 4th week, do a more traditional Extra Life with the same schedule we do here. Maybe mix some stuff up. So that was one dumb idea. The second dumb idea, the more likely idea, I guess I'll be spilling the beans. So if anybody is listening to this podcast, hey, you know what's happening next year, potentially. It's 10 years. I think I talked about this also on Extra Life, so it's not that much of a secret. 10 years. It's pretty exciting. I was thinking of doing stuff, kind of callbacks to old Extra Lives. So we used to do Halo 3. That was a staple, doing LAN parties there. So I'd like to bring that back. We had some tech issues with the 360s the last time we tried running it, and unfortunately didn't play. So that's something I'd have to prep. Granted, I have 365 days to do that. Well, a little less. But make sure those are working. Have that ready to go. That would be fantastic. We brought back Windjammers this year with Windjammers 2. While I really like that game is very technical. Nolan kind of whooped our ass, I think, both times we played that game. I think if that's a game, if people actually played, that could be more interesting of a watch if it's a tournament. I think, I don't know about that one. I kind of feel like the tournaments are a little bit better if we're all of equal footing. So having a pick up and play game a little bit easier. Like Spider Hack, as we saw last year, very competitive. It's not hard to learn. There's a lot of chaotic elements to it that can make it a little bit more evenly playable across the group. So finding that that dream game there. So while I'd like to do a callback of a Windjammers or even a Marvel vs. Capcom with the Fighting Collection out now, perhaps not the best in terms of a viewership if it's just like, oh, it's done, because people steamroll. Just an idea. Great games, just a little bit more technical and not as easy to pick up and go back and forth with, I guess you could say. So I'm not sure there. What else was retro that we did? I think Halo, I guess, was the big standout. But similar along those lines of more callback games. If we were doing the month thing, the Mario Party with Lady and I would be a callback to the pandemic years where we did that. Papa Griff and I always enjoy playing GM mode, so we'd get that wrestling element in there that we've done over the years as well. The online stuff, we could do more Among Us. We could do, I'm trying to think of what else. No, I think that's been the only online game, but maybe we could do like a Lethal Company section, or we could do like the game I'm about to talk about in topic 2, or Overwatch, or Apex, or we did Headbangers Royale one year. Granted, that was just me, but if people wanted to play along, we could do that. Like, we could find elements to throw in that are retro. I'd have to look back at the old schedules, but that's the idea there, is do that mix of callbacks of like, oh shit, you're playing that again. I thought of also doing like just a purely retro Extra Life. So like, it sounds silly, granted the 360, yeah, technically retro, but along with Halo, like doing N64 games. Like, people love to play Smash Ultimate. We played that in the past. Maybe doing Smash 64, or doing like OG Mario Kart on the SNES or 64's version. So things along that line. That could be silly. That could be fun. Granted, you don't get as many people playing at one point with a 4-player in comparison to an 8-player. But that could be silly. That could be fun. So those are the ideas there. Right now, like I said, the mind is willing. People will talk me down from the other stuff, and then it's like, once again, not to put myself down, but like, with the audience you have, is it even worth doing 4 streams for it? I think we've done in the past where it's like, oh, we reached this milestone, we'll do another 12-hour stream that goes to Extra Life, and then we raise minimal to no money for that. So it's like, is it worth it? I don't know. All things that can be figured out. But that's where my dumb ideas and dumb brain are right now, with at least future ideas. I don't know. If you got any fun ideas, let me know in the comments or Discord or whatever. Feel free. But yeah, overall, Extra Life this year, had a great time. I was really hyped and excited for it. Unfortunately, the execution wasn't fully there. Granted, some of it, aka a lot of it, was out of my hands. It is what it is. It's just very unfortunate to get to that point and then for it to fall apart in front of you and you're like, damn it. So that's all. Moving on to topic number 2, let's quickly talk about Marvel Rivals. So if you haven't heard about this game, came out a few weeks ago as of recording. This is Marvel's answer to Overwatch. So it's a third-person hero shooter video game, 6v6 combat, and each hero has like a role or role that they're assigned. So you got your big beefy boys and the vanguards. You have your strategists. Hold on, let me see if the Wikipedia says it, because oh boy, why would I even start talking? La 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 la, no, it's not gonna say. You suck, dude. Really, who wrote this article? Come on. So there's 3 classes. You got your healers, you got your attackers, you got your vanguards, which are your big beefy guys, your tanks. Amongst your 6 players, you can make your team however you want. Obviously, some strategies will be a little bit better than other or more successful, and you can go from there. When they launched, 33 playable characters, so let's read them off. We had Adam Warlock, Black Panther, Black Widow, Captain America, Cloak and Dagger, Doctor Strange. I was going to say Doctor and Strange. Doctor Strange, Groot, Hawkeye, Hela, Hulk, Iron Fist, Iron Man, Jeff the Land Shark, Loki, Luna Snow, Magic, Magneto, Mantis, Moon Knight, Namor, Penny Parker, Psylocke, Punisher, Rocket Raccoon, Scarlet Witch, Spider-Man, Squirrel Girl, Star-Lord, Storm, Thor, Venom, Winter Soldier, and Wolverine. Holy crap. So you got all those characters in there. And so far, the game's been great. Now, I put a lot of time into Overwatch. Absolutely loved it. Loved playing solo for the majority of time, playing with friends like Billy, B. Hank, John, Grind USA, Dio, 24/7. Don't know if I played with anybody else, but playing with those guys, just having a good time. We'd never play ranked or anything like that, but enjoying the chaos of it and the small strategery and trying to get to the objective or defend points, blah blah blah, and played it for a while. I think I was the last holdout amongst our friends. And then when Overwatch 2 happened, a little excited. I liked all the refreshes that they did in terms of a graphic component. I get the adaptation with the competitive scene, enforcing the 2-2-2. You have to have 2 healers, you have to have 2 attack, you have to have 2 tanks, or whatever the hell it was. And that kind of, I get it. That kind of brought me down. Now I know somebody's yelling in the ether, they had the free play mode where you could do whatever like OG Overwatch. You are right, sir or madam or non-binary friend. You're absolutely correct. It lost a little steam for me there, just hopping into the regular game mode and not being able to play the players that I want, or play the characters that I want to play as. Looking at you, Widowmaker, we had a good run. But playing, being forced into a shoebox of I guess I'm playing Lucio. While I love playing Lucio, being forced to play him every time, or a tank that I don't really gravitate towards any of them. No offense to tank players, I love you and respect you. Just for me, it was just that kind of lost steam. So those few times that you did get to play attack, it was nice, but then you felt if you had a bad match, you're like, oh, I can't even get momentum started here and play at the next match and get better. It's just nope, you have a shitty performance, whoop, go back to the roles that you're in, and the other ones, just because so many people are queuing for those attack roles. So that was one bummer. And then the rollout of Overwatch 2, while the heroes started off free, then they were included in the battle passes, and if I'm not mistaken, when you got the battle pass, the hero was still 20 levels deep. They were in there. Unless that was, if you didn't get the battle pass, then you had to get to a halfway point level, and that's when you unlocked them. And if you got the battle pass, then you got the hero. That makes more sense. Who knows? But they started implementing things that way with the battle pass, and it was just instead of the loot boxes. And I know, we all bitched and complained about the loot boxes, how it's random and all that jazz. It might be just me, rose-tinted glasses, but I kind of like and miss the loot box situation. I get the all hullabaloo of the microtransactions and the randomness. I get that. It just felt like we were at least consistently getting these loot boxes, and there was always a chance for cool stuff. I remember having a lot of cool skins for characters here and there, whether it was the special events, the winter, the Halloween, the Chinese New Year, things like that. At least you were getting cool stuff and you felt rewarded. Even if it wasn't the most important thing that you were aiming for, you had a chance for it. And then if not, and you were getting repeat stuff, you got the little coinage, and you could save it up, and eventually when it rolls around, you could get it again. There was opportunity there. And then if you really wanted to, yes, you could buy more loot boxes. Maybe that's what people were unhappy with. You would buy more loot boxes, which obviously the loot boxes are random. Maybe people just wanted it where I just want to buy X skin, just Fortnite it. Give me the V-Bucks. Boom, I'll buy that skin. Maybe that was the hang-up. That's a fair enough hang-up. But taking the loot boxes away, and then me looking at it now, I'm like, damn, kind of missed it. Or kind of missed that. So Overwatch 2 happened, and yeah, I just kind of got more and more away from it. But there was something I was hanging on to. Blizzard said, hey, we know people like the Overwatch lore. Obviously, we've done little teases here and there with character trailers, and I think they did a comic and all this stuff. We're going to make single player content with Overwatch 2. And I was like, oh, sweet. Great. Cool. That'll be fun. Just these characters I'm already invested in. See more and learn more about them, right? And then they canceled the single player content. And that was the final nail in the coffin for me of I'm not playing this enough really to warrant me continuing, and especially playing solo, like, it just got boring. So I stopped playing Overwatch this year, probably last year, and just haven't really kept up to date with it. It's still going, but it seems like it's a lot of people are kind of taking that note. I don't know if the esports teams are still going, but the Overwatch League isn't even as big as it used to be. So Marvel Rivals comes out, or was announced, and I was like, oh, that looks neat. I don't think it's for me. Then it gets announced for PlayStation, and it gets announced that it's for free. And I was like, oh, all right, well, it's free. Why not? So I end up trying it after some hubbub and some people asking, like, oh, are you going to play it? And it's jumping out. And blah, blah, blah. So I ended up hopping in, and I absolutely love it. It's grabbing me for everything that Overwatch, like all those fun things that Overwatch did for me, it is reflected here in Marvel Rivals. Feels fun to jump back into. I haven't played with friends yet. I was supposed to play with some friends this weekend, and the timing just didn't work out. But just playing even just solo, jumping into it, having those heroes available. There are a lot of comparisons to Overwatch in terms of some characters. It's not, cut and paste, as some people want you to believe. But there are some characters that act very similar to others. It is what it is. And the basic concept in game modes are there. Defend this. Navigate this little boat or car to the end, that's fine. But it's a lot of fun. I've been having an absolute blast with it. You get into games incredibly fast. It looks pretty cool. It's got a unique art style. Looks cool, looks gorgeous in terms of graphics. Some elements of the environment are destructible as you go around, so that kind of adds a new little element to it of, oh, this can be destroyed, I can get a new angle, or I need to defend this position a little bit differently. That's kind of neat. And over time it will repair itself, so it's not always destroyed. It just happens for a little while. I will say this, I can't remember any of the maps. I think there's one Wakandan map that's kind of like on the top of a waterfall, and it's like looking out to this giant vista. I think that's the one I remember the most. In terms of the rest, none of them are super memorable right now. But the way they play with this is it's like a mashup. I know Marvel's all about the multiverse right now with the movies and whatnot. So they're kind of throwing everything in the kitchen sink at this. So it explains why all the heroes are together, and you get to go to different locations and stuff like that. So they have pretty much everything at their disposal, which is nice. Speaking of characters, as you heard me explain earlier, there's a mix of good guys, bad guys, which also explains the whole Secret Wars type thing, the multiverses of why are they teaming up with that? Not multiverses, that's the Warner Brother game. Multiverse, why they're working together. And yeah, they've been fun to play. There's been some people are learning some metas and, some stuff there, so that gets a little annoying to deal with. I'm looking at you, Iron Fist. I'm looking at you, Spider-Man, just kicking my ass. But so far, the characters I have played, I've really enjoyed. Granted, I've only really vibed with a few of them in terms of, I've played a lot of them. There's a few that I want to spend more time with, but I just haven't. It's that fear of, I jump into this online match and I'm playing somebody new, and then I do ass, and nobody's going to like me. There's practice modes. I just need to do it. But the characters I have really resonated with, Winter Soldier was the first one I jumped into. He's got a pistol that he can shoot. He's got this weird electrical blast he can shoot out of his hand. He's got some melee stuff. He was pretty fun. Punisher's really easy to play as. He's probably a good beginner character to jump into. Rocket Raccoon was my healer that I jumped into and played. He's got a good... Well, obviously, he's Rocket Raccoon. He's got a good gun you can use, too, if you want to be a little bit aggressive. But he's got these splash heals, so that was kind of nice. And then my favorite... Not a surprise, was Black Widow. She's a Widowmaker in this game. She's got the sniper. She's got some melee offerings that are a little better than Widow had in Overwatch, but she's been who I've been going with. And it's one of those things, if I can get a good match and have good momentum, oh boy, have a great time playing with her. Now, I mentioned those Iron Fist and Spider-Mans. They're getting used to it. Look around in the back, and they'll just be jumping and flipping around and punching the shit out of people, whether it's the healers or myself. So that hasn't been so much fun. Play a little bit of Hawkeye. He's like Hanzo. They're both bow characters, so that makes sense. People I want to learn better. I want to learn Loki, just because I like Loki. I kind of want to learn Squirrel Girl and Scarlet Witch. I've seen a few of those as I've played against them that seem fun. I don't know what Psylocke's abilities are, but glad to see her in this. So I think her and Moon Knight are on that list as well. In terms of tanks not really my style. I've had some success in the matches I have played with Captain America. I don't think I've played any others. I know Hulk is a tank, Venom is a tank, Penny Parker, and who's the other one I was thinking of? Had it in my head, and then I lost him. Oh, Magneto. Magneto's another one. So, I don't know. I don't know if I'll ever jump into those guys. But yeah, there's so many characters in here. I don't know what their post-launch plans are, but if I remember correctly, all the heroes... Here we go. The Marvel Rivals team continues to support the games through free updates, game modes, cosmetic items, and seasonal events. So it seems like it's just going to be free stuff, which is great. Do they have their microtransactions? Yes. You could buy MCU skins. You could buy other skins that they provide. But it seems like it's going to be free, which is going to be great. Now, let's talk about skins for a moment. I talked about it with Overwatch. Once again, a lot of comparisons, so sorry. How I felt with the loot box system, I was getting a lot of rewards and like cool skins for my characters. There's not a lot of skins right now, and I don't know if it's the season 0 type thing, it's a launch or whatever, and there's not a lot you can unlock. You can unlock, I believe, 1 or 2 skins per character based on your proficiency rank. Now, proficiency rank is the more you use a character, the more you do 4 objectives that they have, which repeat over time. You gain proficiency points in the character, and you can unlock things at different levels. So 1 level is a spray for your character. 1 is a little different animation when you get a kill, and the last one seems to be a skin for your character. It kind of sucks. There should be more. Look at the comic book library. Like, there should be a whole bunch of skins. I don't know if it's just because it's early launch. Whatever it is, that's my only negative towards this game, is I want to be rewarded for playing outside of the you got a victory. I'd like it where you're rewarded, here's a skin for a character, here's some cool element for them, blah blah blah, whatever. That would be nice. There's in-game credits that you can save up and get battle pass items for. Yes, there's a battle pass, you can get in that too. There's the battle pass currency. There's another currency that saves over time for like the real world money purchases if you wanted to go for that. But in terms of general unlocks, there's not a lot. Like I said, just could be because it's early in the game, if they'll work their way up to it and introduce more season per season. I'm not sure. Game modes, I haven't messed around with much. I think mainly it's just the 6v6 thing. There is the training or the practice range. There might be something else going along because they do kind of have a story, but the elements I just saw was like each week it unlocks more challenges akin to Fortnite. Use this character or this grouping of characters, do X, you get experience towards your level to get the in-game currencies. I don't know if there's anything else. It's something I need to explore a little bit better. But yeah, for now, seems really good. So all in all, Marvel Rivals I've been really enjoying. Yes, it's very similar to Overwatch, as I keep saying. I don't think that's a bad thing. Overwatch had a great run. I think 2014, 15 was the launch there. Had a great run. Now the new kids on the block, we'll have to see. It could just be one of those things where all the hype is there and everybody's playing it now. And you give it a little time and then people are like, all right, peace out. I don't know if it has the longevity. We'll have to see. I don't mean to shout out Concord, but we all saw how Concord went. was out for 2 weeks, and then it was taken off and closed. Big yikes. I hope it's not that. Obviously, in terms of a player turnout, it's definitely doing better than Concord. People have been sharing Steam numbers, not my numbers, and it's absolutely crushing it. I hope for continued success with this. Keep it fun, keep it exciting, keep the player base around. That's all that matters. Overwatch, you had a good run. I'm not saying I want Overwatch to fail. That's not what I'm saying. I'm done with it. I want the players to keep playing their thing. Overwatch, now you just got to be like, all right, I've been king of the castle for a little bit. How the hell do we fix this? How do we get people back over? And Blizzard's been blizzarding for a little while. I know Bobby Kotick ain't there right now. Thank God. We need to turn that studio around and get our shit together. I have faith. It's going to be tough. But yeah, that's all. This has been another episode of the Wait Where We Talk About podcast. My name is Bret, a.k.a. Enigma9011. I appreciate you guys hanging out with me today. If you guys ever want to catch the podcast live, if and when we go live, you can drop a follow over on twitch.tv/Enigma9011. You'll get notified when we go live over there, so you join in the fun and conversation with us. But if you can't catch it live, that's A-OK. Go over to YouTube and podcast services the very next week, where it's broken out topic by topic and put as one big video and MP3 for amusement on the following Friday. Last but not least, anyway, support the show. Like, shares, reviews, subscriptions, whatever it is. It may seem small, but does help the channel grow, so if you take the time to do that, we would love and appreciate you for it. Hope you guys are doing well in this holiday season. Hope you guys are having a good time, whether you're with family, on your own, just chilling, whatever it is. Hope you're having a good one. Hope you're relaxing. Appreciate you guys hanging out with me today, giving this a watch, giving it a listen. And we'll see you guys on the next one.